Okay, today I'm going to be doing the ECU mod on the on my on my MS3 Pro. The objective is to get the additional analog input channel out from the main board and out to the option connector. I'm going to be using the method that Greg Peters did on the Car Passion channel that he described. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into that. So here we go. So here's my MS3 Pro opened up. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is, let me get this. Is on this row. I think it's this row. Yeah, on this row of joints here, or solder connectors here, are all of the different inputs or the different channels, and this is the analog in, and I've got to bring that around to this connector over here. Greg chose this up here. Greg chose this pin here to bring the analog input to. I don't think I'll use that. I think I'm going to use this pin here for two reasons. This is a digital in, a digital channel. Typically, I don't think I'm going to be using that. If I do, I might regret that later. But anyway, so okay, that's not visible. I'm going to be using this pin here. That's Q on the option connector, line Q or pin Q on the option connector. I'm going to use this one, and for a couple of reasons. Is that it's easily accessible, and it's not going to be something that I intend on using in the future. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So the first step is let us cut that line. Let's get our, so we're going to be cutting line Q, pin Q, so 5 over from this side. This is Y, W, U, S, Q. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here goes. Okay. Point of no return. So we're going to take that pin and we're going to gently bend that up. There. That's what I'm going to solder to. So I'm going to get some heat shrink tubing. And we're going to get our wire that we're going to use. So we're going to put that on there. And then we're going to position this in the general vicinity and prepare our solder. And now to put my soldering skills, or lack thereof, on public display. So here goes. A little bit of flux. Let's tin that pin. Let's Yep, that didn't work. That's a pretty piss poor solder. That might hold. So let's get this heat wrap on there. And let's hope that'll protect me from myself. A little bit of heat gun action. Okay, so that's half of the battle there. So now what we're going to do is get this wire over to its final destination. Which is down here at analog input 3, right here. So let's give this a fighting chance. Now let's do a little repositioning here. Okay, now we're ready to tackle the other half of this. So let's get that in place. And we're going to be going on to that pin. Little glob on there. Analog input 3. Let's kind of straighten that out. I want that to have the best chance of adhering. Okay, I'm back. I think I've averted a huge disaster. My circuit board soldering skills are nowhere near what they need to be, but whatever the case. This is the analog input 3 line that I just soldered on. And in the process of attempting to do that, I actually bridged between this analog input 3 and the coolant temperature pin, which was an impending disaster. So I had to go in and carefully remove that solder bridge between this pin and this pin, and then resolder this here to get that line that goes over to pin Q on the output connector. I think I've got that cleared out. That's the problem with marginal soldering skills and a critical piece of the board here is to screw that up. But anyway, I'm going to put this this heat shrink over this part here just to make sure that I don't cause myself any other problems. So let's get that done. Okay, so I probably need to go in there with a Q-tip or something. Make sure that I don't have any remnants of that solder bridge. I think I got it all taken care of. So we'll see. When I plug this puppy back in and smoke starts coming out, I release the magic smoke, you'll know that I failed. Worst comes to worst is I have the old MS3 that I can put back in and stumble along and get this repaired if need be, but we'll see. Fun and games. Okay, I've run into another problem of my own making. It has to do with wiring in the oil pressure and temperature sensor. What I have managed to do is not label the wires that are for that sensor. And so I've got 4 wires that I got to figure out who's on first. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Shed a little light on the subject. So these are the 4 wires that I'm talking about. And I got to figure out who's on first. Now, it requires a 5-volt source, which I'm going to presume is the red wire. Red is always a voltage source. At least for me it is. Then there's a ground wire, which black, once again for me, is always black. Then comes the fun part about which one is pressure signal and which one is temperature signal. Typically, I have green as being a signal. And in this case, since it's supposed to be, my objective mainly is to have a pressure, oil pressure. So I'm going to presume that the green is oil pressure and that the white, which is atypical for me, is oil temperature. So that's what I'm figuring. That's what I'm going to go with. The worst that can happen is that I short something out, I blow something up, I ruin something, and I end up with neither pressure nor temperature. But worst comes to worst, I do have my original oil pressure, which feeds that oil pressure and oil temperature. So I have a secondary source for either one of those. So these won't be data logged, but at least I'll have something. But that's the worst, is that I blow up this sensor, or these sensors, and render it inoperable. So hey, we'll see what happens. So that's what I'm going with. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So fun and games always makes things interesting. The other thing is these 4 wires go to the EGT module. Once again, I need a signal, a voltage source, a ground, which is this black wire, and then I have can high and can low. This I can figure out because I can get to that module easily and see who's on first as far as that's concerned. So I'm not really worried about these signals. It's these for the oil pressure and temperature that is problematic. So onwards and upwards. It's always fun here in Miata City, in Franken Miata City. So here we go. So all of the wires are going to end up connecting up into this connector here. And then it's wired up into the ECU from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these wires route this this here is the blower motor for the heater. So I think what I'm going to have these wires do is route, let's see, problem is the black ground wire is the shortest one, so I gotta have a path that's going to get all of the, or get that one to the end result. So I'm probably going to have them go up and over kind of untangle this crap. Up and over the duct for the blower, and then come around in here, something like that. So I've got just enough to make that happen. So I'm going to cut everything to the length of this black wire, and then we'll get these terminated and then pinned into the right places in this connector up here. So first, let's get these wires cut. Next, let's get this connector off of here. This part that goes to the ECU option connector, I've already unscrewed that. And that is let's get that out of here. Okay. So that's the option. That's the option connector. This is the connector that I'm using in the car. And let's get this unscrewed from here. All right, and disconnects over here, and that's that connector. Okay, so here's the deal. This mates to this, which connects to the ECU. So I've got to get these 4 wires connected up into here in the right places so that I get the signals into the ECU. Easy, right? Now the fun part is I've got this diagram that shows what pins are for what signals. We'll set that down there with the little guide. So these are the pins on the connector, the Deutsch connector. This is the layout of the Deutsch connector, with it wouldn't print on one page, so it's kind of cut off there. But anyway, this is showing me where I want the pins to go. And I already said which one is supposed to be which. So, and then very faintly on the back of the connector are the numbers that correspond to these on the Deutsch connector. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and on and on and on through 24. So, fun and games. So 5-volt supply voltage. Red wire, 5-volt supply voltage. Is on 23. That is 23. Here. Okay. ground. Ground is already tapped, number 6. So what I should and could do is splice this wire together with this one. So I'll do that later. Oil pressure, which I said is number 6, is the green. Oil pressure is going into 18, and that's 18 here. And temperature is in 15. So 13, 14, 15. That's 13, 14, 15. 13, 14, 15 is here. Okay, so before I drive these home, I want to double check. So 5-volt reference is 23. That's 23. Pressure is 18. That's 18 here. And oil temperature is 15. That's 13, 14, 15. So now I'm gonna drive these puppies home. Which is easier said than done. Especially on these wires that are kind of floppy. Hold on. So I'm going to use this little screwdriver. Yeah, why would this be easy? Okay, it's getting there. There. Close enough for now. I can grab that. This one should be easier because the wire is stiffer. There. That one's in there. Okay. Okay. Grab that with the needle nose. Pull it through the seat. Okay. So that's these three. And then we have that ground wire to have to deal with. I think what I'll do is this is wrapped with electrical tape. And I think what I'll just do six is sensor ground. That's this guy. Get this thing to focus. So 6 is sensor ground, and I'm basically gonna have these be together, so be right back. Let's cut off that pin. Strip this back again. Let's cut into this. Give me some working room. All right. Twist, twist, twist. Yes, twist, twist, twist. You guys cohabitate together on this side. That didn't work. Okay, I cut out a part here because there were a lot of rude language being used. I thought the butt connector thing was going to be an easy button, but it was anything but easy. Anyway, it's in there. That's the way it's going to be. Tough luck. Get the ECU in there. I don't even know if I want to bother right now. Okay, now it's time to see if I'm the hero or the goat. Time to see if will be releasing the magic smoke from the ECU, or if everything is wonderful and my oil pressure and oil temperature will register. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, trial number 2. I'm not trusting anything. Back to the drawing boards, boys